Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Jenny Halpin, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is leading aircraft woman Chloe Chalou. Before commencing this evening's Last Post ceremony, we wish to pause for a moment and reflect on the senseless massacre of 21 Australian nurses that occurred on Banker Island 84 years ago today on the 16th of February 1942. This was the single largest loss of nurses in Australian military history. This evening, we are honoured to acknowledge Air Vice Marshal John Healy, Head of Military Strategic Plans and member of the Council of the Australian War Memorial, Wing Commander Sharon Bown, retired. We also warmly welcome Group Captain Mac Cottrell, retired, representing the Air Force Association. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Frederick Irwin Anglican School visiting from Mandurah, Western Australia. Now, if you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Students and those who require a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer John Clifton Davis. John Davis was born on the 22nd of April 1922 in Rose Park, South Australia. He was the eldest of 5 children born to John Davis, a farmer, and his wife, Lily Felicity. John grew up in the town of Maryborough and attended the local public school before high school in Adelaide. John was known as an outstanding student. On completion of his schooling, he began studying science at Adelaide University. During this period, he also obtained work as a meteorological assistant with the Weather Bureau. John Davis was too young to enlist when the Second World War broke out in 1939, being just 17 years old. After his 19th birthday in 1941, however, he joined the Royal Australian Air Force. Accepted to train as aircrew, he took a variety of courses around Australia. Less than a year later, Davis qualified as a pilot, earning his flying badge on the 2nd of July, 1942. He was posted to No. 1 Training Unit at Baronsdale, where crews were trained for multi-engine craft operations. He was posted to Base Torpedo Unit at Nowra in March 1943, where aircrew were trained in torpedo dropping procedures and tactics. He was allocated to his first operational unit, No. 100 Squadron, on the 13th of June 1943. Based out of Mareeba in Queensland, the squadron was equipped with the Bristol Beaufort torpedo bombers. It was largely responsible for carrying out reconnaissance missions, as well as anti-shipping and bombing missions against the Japanese around the Solomon Islands and New Guinea mainland. Davis was allocated to a 4-man crew to carry out a routine reconnaissance mission around Bougainville, in Beaufort A9-225. They did not return to base as expected, and a search began. The following day, a message was received that an American Liberator aircraft had shot down an aircraft in the vicinity of Davis's mission. The American crew reported that the aircraft crashed into the sea, with 3 crew appearing to bail out. Realizing their mistake, the Americans dropped a dinghy and supplies to the men before returning to base for assistance. Weather conditions delayed the search for Beaufort A9-225, and there were no signs of survivors. Some weeks later, another Beaufort crew sighted the dinghy believed to be the one that was dropped to Davis and his comrades. A further search failed to locate them. For some weeks, the search for the crew of Beaufort A9-225 continued. The Americans had dropped several weeks' worth of supplies to the men, and heavy rainfall had ensured any survivors would have had fresh water. Despite this, the crew of Beaufort A9-225 were not sighted again after the 6th of August 1943. For several years, hope was held that at least some of Davis's crew may have somehow made it to land or perhaps became prisoners of war. By 1947, exhaustive searches still located no trace of Davis and his comrades. With the war now over, authorities wrote to Davis's father and noted, "Since the termination of hostilities, thorough searches have been made both by boat and on foot along the southeast coast of New Guinea and other regions, without result. As there were 4 members in the crew and only 3 men in the dinghy, it would seem certain that at least 1 member lost his life when the aircraft was shot down. It is therefore necessary to presume that your son lost his life on or after the last day which he is definitely known to be alive, the 12th of July, 1943. With no known grave, Davis is today commemorated on the Port Moresby Memorial in Papua New Guinea, alongside his comrades, Sergeant William Brain, Sergeant George Collins, and Flight Sergeant Jeffrey Emmett. Flying Officer John Davis was just 21 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left amongst 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer John Clifton Davis, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.